Coccinellidae, I believe it to be. Though, as with every episode, please do not slaughter me over the names that I mispronounce, as I am not experienced in the pronunciation of scientific names. So I shall slaughter the etymology section. If you have a animal or plant or something that is your favourite, please tell me in the comments below. The Coccinellidae is a widespread family of small beetles ranging in size from 0.8 to 18 millimeters. So that's 0.03 to 0.71 inches. The family is commonly known as ladybugs in North America and ladybirds in Britain and other parts of the English-speaking world. Etymologists prefer the names ladybird beetles or lady beetles, as these insects are not classified as true bugs. Wow, there's a lot going on there already, and that's quite strange. Okay, they prefer it to be called a bird, a ladybird beetle, because it's not a bug. That's quite interesting. The majority of the coccinellid species are generally considered useful insects because many species prey on herbivorous homopterans such as aphids or scale insects, which are agricultural pests. Many coccinellids lay their eggs directly in aphid and scale insect colonies in order to ensure that their larvae have an immediate food source. Well, what a lovely thing of a ladybird beetle to do. Thank you for helping us with our agriculture. However, some species do have unwelcome effects. Among these, the most prominent are of the subfamily Elpicaninae, which includes the Mexican bean beetle, which are herbivorous themselves. Usually, Epilalcanes are only minor agricultural pests, eating the leaves of grain, potatoes, beans, and various other crops. But their numbers can increase explosively in years, and their natural enemies such as parasitoid wasps that attack their eggs are few. In such situations, they can do major crop damage. They occur in practically all the major crop-producing regions of temperate and tropical countries. And now for our favourite section of the Wikipedia, the etymology. Thank goodness it's a small section. The name coccinellids is derived from the Latin word coccineus, meaning scarlet. Interesting. The name ladybird originated in Britain, where insects became known as our lady's bird or the lady beetle. Mary, our lady, was often depicted wearing a red cloak in early paintings, and the spots of the 7-spot ladybird, the most common in Europe, were said to symbolise her 7 joys and 7 sorrows. Wow. In the United States, the name was adapted to ladybug. Common names in some other European languages have the same association. For example, the German name Marienkäfer translates to Mary Beetle. Wow, that's cool. Coccinellids are often conspicuously coloured yellow, orange, or red with small black spots on their wing covers. Guttata, a 12-spotted species, have whitish spots on a brown background. Coccinellids are found worldwide, with over 6,000 species described. Most coccinellids have round to elliptical dome-shaped bodies with 6 short legs. Depending on the species, they can have spots, stripes, or no markings at all. 7-spotted coccinellids are red or orange with 3 spots on each side and 1 in the middle. They have a black head with white patches on each side. As well as the usual yellow and deep red colourings, many coccinellid species are mostly or entirely black, dark grey, grey or brown, and may be difficult for non-etymologists to recognise as coccinellids at all. Conversely, non-etymologists might easily mistake many other beetles for coccinellids. For example, the tortoise beetles, like the ladybird beetles, look similar because they are shaped so they can cling to a flat surface so closely that ants and many other enemies cannot grip them. Non-etymologists are prone to misidentify a wide variety of beetle species in other families as ladybirds, i.e. coccinellids. Beetles are particularly prone to such misidentification if they are spotted in red, orange, or yellow and black. Wow, this whole paragraph is just a massive flex from etymologists. Examples include the much larger scarabeid grapevine beetles and spotted species of the Chrysomelidae, Meliridae, and others. Conversely, laymen may fail to identify unmarked species of Coccinellidae as ladybirds. Other beetles have a defensive hemispherical shape like that of the Coccinellidae, for example the Cassinidae, and also are often taken for ladybirds. You better watch out with your ladybird naming. A common error, totally unfounded, is that the number of spots on the insect's back indicates its age. In fact, the underlying pattern and coloration are determined by the species and genetics of the beetle, and develop as the insect matures. In some species, its appearance is fixed by the time it emerges from its pupa, though in most it may take some days for the colour of the adult beetle to mature and stabilise. Generally, the mature colour tends to be fuller and darker than the colour of the callow. Now it's time to take a little look into the biology and distribution of the ladybird beetle. Coccinellids are best known as predators of Sternorhynchia, such as aphids and scale insects. But the range of prey species that various Coccinellidae may attack is much wider. A genus of small black ladybirds, Stethorus, presents one example of predation of non-Sternorhynchia. They specialize in mites as prey, notably the Tetrantius spider mites. Stethorus species accordingly are important in certain examples of biological control. They are natural predators of a range of serious pests, such as the European corn borer, a moth that cost the US agricultural industry more than $1 billion annually in crop losses and population control. Various larger species of Coccinellidae attack species are significant predators of the eggs and larvae of moths, such as species of Spodoptera and the blue-tilled tilley. Larvae and eggs of ladybirds, either their own or of other species, can also be an important food resource when alternative prey are scarce. As a family, the Coccinellidae used to be regarded as purely carnivorous, but they are now known to be far more omnivorous than previously thought, both as a family and in individual species. Examination of gut contents of apparently specialist predators commonly yield residues of pollen and other plant materials. Besides the prey they favour, most predatory coccinellids include other items in their diet, including honeydew, pollen, plant sap, nectar, and various fungi. The difference of such non-prey items in their diets is still under investigation and discussion. Wow. It looks like there is still lively debate about the diets of predatory ladybugs, so this might be a topic we revisit in the future. Apart from the generalist aphid and scale predators and incidental substances of botanical origin, many Coccinellidae do favour or even specialise in certain prey types. This makes some of them particularly valuable as agents in biological control programs. Determination of specialisation need not be a trivial matter, though, for example, the larvae of the Vidalia ladybird Rhodolia cardinalis is a specialist predator on a few species of Monovelbidae, in particular the Eiseria purchasei, which is the most notorious of the cottony cushion scale species. However, the adult Aaah cardinalis can subsist for some months on a wider range of insects plus some nectar. Certain species of coccinellids are thought to lay extra infertile eggs with the fertile eggs, apparently to provide a backup food source for the larvae when they hatch. The ratio of infertile to fertile eggs increases with scarcity of food at the time of egg laying. Such a strategy amounts to the production of trophic eggs. Some species in the subfamily Elpicaninae are herbivores and can be very destructive agricultural pests, e.g. the Mexican bean beetle. Again, in the subfamily Coccinellidae, members of the tribe Halizini and the genus Dithaspis are mycophagous. While predatory species are often used as biological control agents, introduced species of coccinellids are not necessarily benign. Species such as the Harmonia axyridis or the Coccinellia septempunctata in North America outcompete and displace native coccinellids and become pests themselves. The main predators of coccinellids are usually birds, but they are also the prey of frogs, wasps, spiders, and dragonflies. The bright colours of many coccinellids discourage some potential predators from making a meal of them. This phenomenon, called aposematism, works because predators learn by experience to associate certain prey phenotypes with a bad taste. A further defense known as reflex bleeding exists, in which an alkaloid toxin is exuded through the joints of the exoskeleton, triggered by mechanical stimulation, first insects to appear in the spring. Some species, e.g. the Hippodamia convergens, gather into groups and move to higher elevations, such as a mountain, to enter diapause. Most coxonelids overwinter as adults, aggregating on the south sides of large objects such as trees or houses during the winter months, dispersing in response to increasing day length in the spring. Predatory coxonelids are usually found on plants which harbour their prey. They lay their eggs near their prey to increase the likelihood the larvae will find the prey easily. In Harmonia axyridis, eggs hatch in 3 to 4 days, from clutches numbering from a few to several dozen. Depending on resource availability, the larvae pass through 4 instars over 10 to 14 days, after which pupation occurs. After a tenaral period of several days, the adults become reproductively active and are able to reproduce again later, although they may become reproductively quiescent if eclosing late in the season. Total lifespan is 1 to 2 years on average. Let's read now about the population shift in Great Britain and Ireland. The Atlas Ladybirds Coxonelidae of Britain and Ireland, published in 2011, showed a decline of more than 20% in native species due to environmental changes and competition from foreign invaders. The distribution maps compiled over a 20-year period with help from thousands of volunteers showed a decline in the number of the common 10-spot and 14-spot ladybirds, and a number of other species including the 11-spot, 22-spot, cream spot, water and hieroglyphic ladybirds, Coccygiulia rufa, Rhizobius litura, and Naphus redidin-Bakkeri. Conversely, increases were seen in the numbers of harlequin, orange, pine and 24-spot ladybirds, as well as the Rhizobius chrysomyloids. The kidney spot ladybird was recorded in Scotland for the first time in recent years, and the 13-spot was found to have recolonised Cornwall, Devon and the New Forest. The most commonly recorded species was the 7-spot, closely followed by the Asian harlequin, an invader that arrived from continental Europe in 2003 after being introduced to control pests. An explosion in the number of orange ladybirds which feed on mildew is thought to have been due to the warmer, damper conditions that now prevail in parts of England. Well, Great Britain and Ireland, you need to start sorting out your ladybug, lady beetle, ladybird situation soon. Now let's look at their relationship with humans. Infestations is the first subcategory. In North America, coxonelids usually begin to appear indoors in the autumn when they leave their summer feeding sites in fields, forests and yards and search out places to spend the winter, typically when temperatures warm to the mid-60s Fahrenheit, which is 18 degrees Celsius. In the late afternoon following a period of cooler weather, they will swarm onto or into buildings illuminated by the sun. Swarms of coxonelids fly to buildings in September through November, depending on location and weather conditions. Homes the summer of 1976 in the United Kingdom, a marked increase in the aphid population was followed by a plague of ladybirds, which many reports of people being bitten as the supply of aphids dwindled. Wow. The presence of coccinellids in grape harvests can cause ladybird taint in wines produced from the grapes. Let's have a little chat about ladybirds as an invasive species. Harmonia axridis, the harlequin ladybird, was introduced into North America from Asia in 1979 to control aphids, but it is now the most common species, outcompeting many of the native species. It has since spread to much of Western Europe, reaching the UK in 2004. It has become something of a domestic and agricultural pest in some regions, and gives cause for ecological concern. It has similarly arrived in parts of Africa, where it has proved variously unwelcome, perhaps most prominently in vine-related crops. In culture, ladybirds have long been of interest to children. They had many regional names, now mostly disused in English, such as variations on Bishop Barnaby, Norfolk and Suffolk dialect, Barnaby, Burnaby, the bishop that burneth, and Bishy, Barnaby. The etymology is unclear, but it may be from St. Barnabas' feast in June, when the insect appears, or a corruption of bishop that burneth from the fiery Eltra of the Beatles. The ladybird was immortalized in the popular children's nursery rhyme Ladybird, Ladybird. Ladybird, ladybird, fly away home. Your house is on fire, and your children are gone, all except one, and that's little Annie, for she has crept under the warming pan. What the heck is that? This poem has its counterpart in German as Marienwürmchen, collected in Des Knaben Wunderkorn and set to music by Robert Schwamm, as Op. 79 number 13, and a Polish nursery rhyme Little Ladybird's Anthem, of which a part, Fly to the sky, little bird, bring me a piece of bread, became a saying. Many cultures consider ladybirds lucky and have nursery rhymes or local names for the insects that reflect this. For instance, the Turkish name for the insect is Uga böcegi, literally meaning good luck bug. In many countries, including Russia, Turkey, and Italy, the sight of a coccinellid is either a call to make a wish, or a sign that a wish will soon be granted. In Christian areas, they are often associated with the Virgin Mary, as we saw previously, and the name that insect bears in the various languages of Europe corresponds to this, although historically many European languages referenced Freya, the fertility goddess of Norse mythology, in the names. The Virgin Mary has now largely supplanted her, so that, for example, Freyjuna, Old Norse, and Frohing have been changed into Marion and Mariankaffer, which corresponds with Our Lady's bird. Sometimes the insect is referred to as belonging directly to God. Irish Boente and Polish Boza Kruka and Russian, I can't read Russian letters, Bosya Korovka, all meaning God's little cow. Okay, In Dutch it is called Lieve meaning little animal of our good Lord. In both Hebrew and Yiddish it is called Moshe Rabbeinu, i.e. Moses' little cow or little horse, apparently an adaptation from Slavic languages. Occasionally it is called Little Messiah. Wow. The insects have been used to symbolize ladybird books, part of the penguin group, and the ladybird range of children's clothing sold by the former high street chain Woolworths in the UK. While the ladybird street tile is a symbol against senseless violence in the Netherlands and is often placed on the sites of deadly crimes, ladybirds have served as the US state insects of Delaware, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, Ohio, and Tennessee, though only New York has selected a species native to the United States, which is the Coccinella novemnata. The other states have all adopted an invasive European species, the Coccinella septempunctata. They have also been adopted as the mascot of Candanchu, a ski resort near Camfranc in the Spanish Pyrenees. Wow, that was really quite interesting. Whoever suggested that I should read about ladybugs, congratulations to you for choosing an interesting one. That nursery rhyme was pretty flippin' weird, to tell the truth. I personally don't think I've heard it before, but possibly one of you may have heard of it. I would really love to know if you have. I hope this has been informative, educational, and relaxing to you. I certainly enjoyed myself. And wow, ladybugs do seem to be important all over the world and have lots of different names. Well, until next time, I very much hope that you enjoyed this episode of Whispering